Thank you. Thanks for joining. Today we have day number, we are in day number 4. Actually, it is showing 3, but we are in day number 4. And today we are going to learn very important Python functions, very important Python theory, and then we'll do the lab as well related to the topics related to. So you can see the topics are functions, and in this function, fruitful functions. Fruitful functions means that if a function will return something, then that will be fruitful function. So in that function, we'll go and use a keyword called return, and then it will return some value. So fruitful function return values, parameters, what's the use of local variable and the global variable, and then those things that you already know, actually the slicing of strings, how we can go and slice these strings, and then we have one important data structure. Actually, this is not that important because generally the important data structure we have is actually list and dictionary. But array is also something that we can use it. Generally, we'll not see in the SD-WAN programming or in the DNA programming. Generally, you will see the dictionaries and the arrays, dictionary and the list, sorry, not the arrays. Then access the elements in array, etc. So these operations we are going to learn today. In these operations, you will see the first topic is very important, the fruitful function, and little bit this local and global scope. Global scope, as you know, that will be valid throughout the program, that within any of the function you can call these global defined functions, global defined variables, because they have the global scope. And then we have the local scope. Local means that within the function, outside the function, they, if you call it, they will throw error because they are defined, they are used within the function. So now let's quickly go and see, first of all, the fruitful functions, how it is. Now here you can see that we have one function where we want to check the device status. The name is like this, check the device status. And this is very much the similar diagram topology we have in the HQ in the lab practice, like, 3 switches and the routers and ISP. Okay, so we want to check, what we want to check, the device name, a device status, the device is up or not. For that we have one function, for that we are writing one function. Now here you can see the condition. If a status equal to up, where is the status? This is status. So if a status is up, that means device is up, otherwise device is down. So here you have the function and the condition, condition within the function. And then what we are doing, that we are calling the function. So we are calling this function with some other placeholder, with some other name. So you can see that we are calling this function here, check device status, where but we are defining this here with some values. These are the variables, nothing but the parameters, and these are the values, nothing but the arguments. So with some values, you are calling the function with some values, but you are storing the result within the status message, and then you are printing the status message, right? So a status message, this status message will store is nothing but the return value. The return value will be stored within the status message, and then we are printing the status message, right? I will go and make this little bit easy, and then we'll go and add some more lines in that. So let's try to run this. Let me go and save something here in this folder. Suppose test.py within this SD-WAN folder. Here is the Python. Okay, save it. We want to define one function. Define what you want to do. You want to check the device status like that, and then what you will, and you can go like, you can do like this, and then you can come back. And in this what you want to add, I want to add two parameters, parameter 1 and parameter 2. One is the status, right? Device status. So device status will be up or down, etc. Device name and device status. These things we can switch name or something. See, device name and status. At the moment, we'll define this argument like this, the parameters like this, and later on in the argument section, you'll see that how we'll call it. Now, what is the condition here? What condition we want to put? We want to match something, right? And then we want to print something. So let's see what this function will go and return. So if a status equals to, now you can give like this. If a status is up, then you want to return. Return means that this is nothing but your fruitful function. You want to return, right? And then what you want to return? I want to return the device name. When you are giving variable, you are giving like this. What's the device name? Is up. And then what you will put? If and else statement. Else will go and return the device name, the name of the device. We'll go and give the name of the device. Say device name is down. These are the return functions. Now we have the function defined. Now what we want to do, we want to call it. So this return values we can go and store somewhere. So let's store this return value. I want to store this return value. How I want to store this? So I will go and call this function. The output of this means what this function will return. But for example, we can go and give the value. I can go and give the value, say R11 comma up, and then we want to print a store. Now you are able to understand this complete logic. I will go and do some changes as well later on, but let me know if you are able to understand this logic.
Yes, it makes sense. I'm wondering, yesterday we covered continue and break. Would it be a best practice to put break at after the else statement there, just to make sure there's no chance of it looping on forever?
Yeah,
Or if
means
else, if else isn't a looping.
so we have one big program, that's the SD-WAN program, you can see, and the best practices that we have, how we are writing the program. So actually we are defining the main function, and in that we are adding the exception handling, and with this exception handling we are adding the break.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly what I was asking.
Yeah,
I mean, it's no big deal to just stick it in there as a habit just to
yeah.
make sure, right? Yeah.
So
So
you
that's
can see
probably
here
what I
that
would
at the
break.
moment you else you can just break and go
Yeah.
outside. But at the
Yeah.
moment
Exactly.
I'm just covering basics. So later on in these
Understood.
sections, I will go and add. We have to add this as well. So whenever we have the you can see while condition, then we are adding the exceptions. So within the exception, you can see exception, try and except. Within our try and except, we are writing our piece of code that what exactly
Okay.
we want.
Interesting. Okay. Yep.
So
Thanks.
it will come because I have to cover this exception handling as well. That is, I think, in unit number 5. Once I complete, then anyways, we have very big, lengthy, like we have 300, 400 lines of code.
Okay.
So we'll understand those things. Okay.
Perfect.
But yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
Here we can go and add the break. At the moment you uh, go to else condition break and come out. Okay. So let's try to run this. Let's see if any error will come somewhere. Okay. up. Oh, sorry. By
Line
mistake,
three, if
yeah,
status up.
by
Oh, so
mistake
okay,
that was
gotcha.
there.
So in this case, it just told you it was a typo. Pretty clear. The error
Yeah,
was pretty clear, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Now you can see that we
Line
have this return
seven,
function issue. Oh, again, this is the typo.
typo. Okay, gotcha. Rerun.
So now it is okay. But yeah, oops, you can see that it is telling you that where is the error and all. So now
Okay,
the
perfect.
program is
The
running. Now
devices name R11
if I
and
go
stuff.
here and make this else, if I want to match the else condition, down, down. But
Gotcha.
point here is this, that we are using the fruitful function. Fruitful function will go and give you some return value. Now if I go and comment this line, so let me go and comment this. So since we have done the comment, so it is not printing anything. And if I can go here and in the return itself,
Mm,
if I can go and add this print,
mm,
right? And then if you go and run this program, so now you don't need
mm.
extra print statement here. Function
Oh,
itself we are
interesting.
calling, and
Yeah.
because in this function itself we have this print statement, so we are getting this print line,
Mm.
right?
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So
So your choice of how you set it up just based on you know your comfort level, I guess.
yeah,
To do it
so in return
either way.
itself you
Yeah.
can return with print, or finally you
Hmm.
store this value. Generally we are going to use such approaches. Later on you will see that the vmanage
Yeah.
session, so in the bigger programs, suppose we have the vmanage automation program, so we'll go and define, connect them, guess the device list, and here you will see that we are, see, try session, you can see we are
Hmm.
storing the output here in the sessions, and then this output we are calling within the arguments of the device,
Mm.
right? So these things we will see, the nesting we will see later on in
Okay.
the SD-WAN programs. But this is the fruitful function. Fruitful function means that this will go and give you some value in return. Let's move on and let's see what is the next topic we have.
Okay.
So next topic we have in this list, we have, we have to understand the local and the global variable. Now in this example itself, you will see that if you go and define something outside of the function, right? Outside of the function, that will be the global variable. If you go and define something within the function, that will be your local variable. Why? The scope of this assignment is within this definition. So this is the local variable. If you go out, it will be the global variable. So here you can see that show network status device name. We are assigning device status equal to up, and then we are returning return network name, device name is these are nothing but printing the variables. So network name, if we go and print network name, from where it will come? From the global variable, right?
Mhm.
We go and print, this is outside of the function. Now the device name, the device name where? So device name, actually device name is one of the value of the function, so it will come from here when we call this function. And then the device status, the device status is what? Local variable. So you can see one value is coming from outside of the scope. This is outside of my definition scope. This we are printing as a value of the function, and this
Mm-hmm.
we are printing as a local variable. Local variable that we are assigning here. So
Mm.
you can see three things we are calling
Global
within
variable,
function:
global variable, local variable. Yeah. Okay.
global variable, local variable, uh, and the value of this parameter. Let's see this. The example that we have in that. Let's modify our example. In this example, we want to add local variable and global variable. Let's try to do that.
Okay.
So here, we can go and print something. I am, suppose I am global
Mm-hmm.
variable equal to global, for example, like this.
Yeah.
Global, because we are doing network global router, like that. So there is one value, that is I am global variable, that is global router. Now let's go here within the function, and here I'll go and define, say I am local. I'll make this local, suppose local variable, and I am local router. Okay, so now you can see that we have the local and we have the global. Now since you have the print statement, this will go and print, no problem in that. Now uh, it's up to us if we have the statement or not, but with this statement, let's try to add these things, local variable and the global variable, this thing. So here what I want down. Okay, so we are going to print the else statement, right? So within the else statement, I can go here, global variable, and then what is that? I am global variable. We're calling the variable here, right? Then the device name, how, from where it is, it will come from the function itself, right? And then local variable. What is it? I am local variable. Okay, so because we know that it will go and print the else statement because the condition is down. And if you go and run this program, see here that global variable, global router, right? So in the else statement, this value is coming from where? This value is coming from line number 2, right? Because this is what? This is the global variable. This
Mm-hmm.
global variable you can call within any router. Any router means that any function. This you can, suppose if I have other functions as well, like def check, like that, I have 3-4 other functions as well. This can be called.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have other function where I try to call this name, it will not work because the scope of this variable is local to this function. So in this
Mm-hmm.
example, you can see that we are printing the global variable, we are printing the argument, and we are printing the local variable as well. All three we are printing in this example.
Mm. Yeah, very interesting.
Right. So this was the example related to assigning the local and the global variables. Right. Now let's move on and let's see the one more example we have where we have the mixing of the functions. This is actually very interesting program. It's very a small program. You can see it's very a small program, but it is something like we need some time to understand this. This is something that we are going to use as well. So here you will see a mixing of function. First time in our classes related to Python, we are calling. So from fruit, we are importing one function called check the device status. Where is the fruit function? If I go back, you can see that we have this fruit.py. This is one of the functions. The point here is this. I need to open the folder. Let me go and open the folder. So here it is. I need to go to the open folder. Let me go to the Python. Yeah, Python, I think unit number 2 and 3 and 4. So if I go there, I have unit number 3, yeah, fruit. So let me close these SD-WAN programs. I have fruit, I have global function actually. So fruit, and so what I'm telling here is this, that see that I have this fruit. I added so many things in this fruit.py. This is my Python function. This is my Python program where I have one function called check device status.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this check device status, what it is doing, although I have added so many, like, I don't need this. First of all, let me quickly show you the output. Just now we checked this as well, but let me go and verify this. Python.exe 3.1. Oh, I am in the wrong folder. Let me go to the, what is the folder name? CCNA Python. Okay. That, 1 second. Let me go to the correct folder. Day something. Unit 3.4. Okay. And then Python dot 3. What is that? 3.1 fruit. Okay. So if I run this program, just to show you the output first, then I'll go and add something. The same thing that just now we checked. So here a status, if a status equal to up, then print this because you are calling this. So now you will see the connection. Now I'm going to show you the connection in between two functions. So I have one function called fun underscore comp, some name. Now in this function, first of all, I have one program in the same folder. I have fruit.py. So from fruit.py, I am importing check device status. In this line, you have any problem? Line number 1.
No.
Later on, you will see that in our programs, we will do some import. We'll import requests. We'll
Mm-hmm.
import JSON. We may import some pandas. We
Yeah.
may import some other libraries like YAML and whatever. We will go import so many different things. So
Yeah.
importing the packages, there are two options. One option is this, that Python itself has its own library or a defined function that you are importing. That is Python inbuilt some packages, or someone
Mm-hmm.
can create some package, put somewhere, and then you can go and install it as a
Import
pip
that.
install, and then you can import it. So
Mm-hmm.
those options are there. Or the second option here is this, that you can create your functions and then you can call within other functions. So from fruit, we are going to call this, what this check device is doing. As per this condition, it is checking that device is up or down. That's the
Mm-hmm.
use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, here you see that we have one status defined. The status equals to up. This is what? This is nothing but the global variable, because this is outside of all the functions. So you can see here that we have two function, one function two, but this status equal to up is defined outside. That means this is global variable. Now, again, we have one other function. In other function is very small function. What is there? Get the device status. Device name, we are returning up. That's it. Return the value up. We are returning this. Okay, then we have one other function, display status. Now within display status, we can see display status. What is the status? Get device status, device name. Now obviously this will work as a local variable because you are defining this within the scope. Now what we are returning? We are returning the check device status. Check device
Mm-hmm.
status is what? That is coming from the other function, from other
Mm-hmm.
program, where we have
Mm-hmm.
this complete argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of nesting, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Uh,
this. That's why it's this
like
composite function. You can go and mix different
composite
type of
function.
functions within a function.
Yeah.
So
In networking, we call this nesting, a little virtualization, but nesting for sure. And yeah, you have to follow the tree.
yeah, 100% right. Yeah. So like that. So let me go and so what basically it will go and return. It will go and print the device status because you have only one print statement and that is there in this program only. In this program only you have the print statement. You don't have print statement anywhere. So once we go
Mm-hmm.
and run this program, 3.3, 3.3, I will see R11 is up, R12. Why R12 is coming? R12 is coming from here because we are calling here and R11 is coming from this fruit function. So if you go and run
Mm-hmm.
3.1, you
Mm-hmm.
will see that it is printing R11. So that is as
Mm-hmm.
it is. And then here it is printing R12. So R11 is up, R12 is up. Why R12 is up? Why? Because for R12, what is the status? So a status is, if you see this, what it will do? Because it will go and call which function? It will go and call this function. This function will return what? Up. What it is returning? Up. So that means the status simply is up.
Mm-hmm.
So here the value of a status is up. Now if you go and call with any of the router, so it will go and give the value as up only. So if I go and print one more line, for example, I have one more router number 13, for example. If you go and call this, then 11, 12, 13, it will go and print these three lines. 11 from the previous fruit function, 12 from here, and 13 from here. Right, so it's
Yeah, we
very
got it. Mm-hmm.
small,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to break down the logic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, if
Yeah,
I go
and
here and if I do,
you gotta practice it also. Definitely practice.
if I go and remove this, if I go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and if I go and comment this, if I go and do a status equals to up. So now you can see that I have only one function and this function is returning the call from the import where we are checking the status of a device. And then here, instead of calling this value from some other API, you think like we are doing vmanage and DNA and we are calling API within API, like that you can think. So we are not calling this from a function in vmanage and other things. It will be API calls, call within calls. Instead, I am statically define some local variable. And then if I go and run this, same output, because this function is doing what? Simply it is telling up. If I go and print this function, what it will print? So if I go here and use this, say, print, and within print a statement, it will go and put print up. So this function will go and simply print the up is up, like right. And if I go and call this, I need to call this without any print statement, because anyways here you have the
Hmm.
in the
That's
return
that's
itself.
almost like a print, right? Like a print
Yeah,
statement. Calling the function.
yeah, because in the function itself, in the return, we have added this print. See up the last line, the up this. This is returning up. With anything, it will go and return up. That's the use of this. So you can assign some variable from functions call as well, from function return as well, or you can go and do some static assignment. This getting some output from function is nothing but the API call result. Later
Mm,
on, you can get some result from API call that is part of a function. That API you will define as a function somewhere, right?
mm,
And then that
mhm,
particular function you will use somewhere. So it's a very practical example related to function over function calls.
mm. Okay.
All right, so we are doing good now. So we have this local and global variables. Then we have this function.
Ratnesh,
Yep.
can we take a 2-minute break real quick?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Why not? Let me
I'm
pause
gonna
the record.
pause. Yeah, pause the recording. Okay, I'll be right back. Give me 2 minutes.
All right. So next we have recursion. Again, this is function within function type of logic, or one thing you're calling again and again. So one nice example for this is the factorial type of function. For example, we have to create factorial of 5. Factorial of 5 means 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So like that, you can see the logic here. We are defining one function, countdown, like go one step below like that. So countdown, that's the name. We can give any name like factorial n. Then n, if n is less than equal to 0, you come out from the loop. Else, print n. Print n means print these numbers and reduce number by 1. So here you will see that if you go and put 5, what it, oh, sorry, this is not factorial. If I go and multiply this, then it will become factorial. This is just the print the numbers in the reverse order. It's like that. But yeah, this is very much the logic we are using for factorials as well, like factorial of functions, where you can go and use some logic like n into n minus 1, and that will be continued one by one, and that will go and print you the final output like 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, 2 into 1. But this is like printing the numbers in the reverse order, where you are using if else condition. You give the number 5. So what it will happen if I go and give number as a 5, so it will go and print 5, and then what it will do, it will go and print 4 and then 3 and then 2 and then 1. This is the logic. In this logic, if we have any difficulty understanding, because this is a very basic program, so I'll not execute it, but if you can understand this, I'll give you 1 minute time here just to have a look on this, and then we'll proceed.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, it looks good. Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's very simple, easy program, and it is there in the shared. So when you practice, you can practice this also.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the next topic that we have that you already know, and this will do little bit of hands-on today. This is something like playing with these strings. So suppose you have a string like giga and gigabit Ethernet 01, and if you want to print, you can see print the device name. You know that the 0 means this number here, and then
First
1 and then
position. Yeah.
position, yeah, position of
Hmm.
that. So if we go and use 0 to 8, so it will start from 0 and print up to 8, like that it will print, right? 0 to 8. So that's the output you have. The strings are immutable. If you go and print 0, position number 0, that means it will go and print this number. So like that you can check this. So let me show you this. I can even
Immutable means you can't
can't
change
change.
it,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. So we can go to Python
So I can
command also.
print it, but I can't insert swap the I for a K or anything like that. Okay.
100%.
I can
Yeah.
I can call it, but I can't change it, right?
Yes. So I have interface like this, and then if I go and print say interface from 0 to 5, so you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that is printing. Like that, other operations are there. Like if you want to print this in reverse order, then -1 colon close 0, like that there are so many other examples related to operations. If you just wanted to
Okay.
print one number, you can print it. And then we have some inbuilt functions like lower, upper. So if I go here and do int and then lower, it is already in lower, so let me do upper, so it is in uppercase.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Likewise,
know all of these. I
yeah,
practiced
so
them. So
so it's just for quick refresh, you have that. Then we have one data structure, that is array. Array can store multiple values in a single variable. And I can see that from array we can import array, and then you can see that IP address in array. So we have array like you, and then the list of IP addresses like 192.168.1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then if you want to print the element of array, so 0 means this, 1 means this, 2 means this. So array can be utilized, but this is something that we are not going to use more and more in our SD-WAN programs. Mostly we are
okay.
going to use the dictionary at the most, and then the list and dictionary we are going to use.
List and
But
dictionary.
this,
I,
yeah.
I'm noticing the array has parentheses around the array uses parentheses. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah, yes,
parentheses.
parenthesis, yeah,
Um, yeah. List uses the bracket, dictionary uses the squiggly line. So
yes,
this one's different. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Array. Array.
And even if you want to add something in the array, we can go to append, and the same thing we can go and do in actually in the list as well. In list also we can append like
Append.
this. Yeah, append keyword is applicable there also and here also. Now we have one example. Yeah, this is one example. This is a little bit big example, but we'll try to understand this example. This is one of the use case related to configuration check. So suppose I have to go and check the configuration. Generally, how we are checking this configuration in a production? We are logging to the devices, and then we are checking the line by line. Suppose we have to go and check the ACL uh, access control list configuration to 1000 devices. So you have the standard configuration somewhere in the file. Suppose you have 200 of lines, for example. Suppose you have 50 lines of ACL, which is a standard configuration, and that you want to make sure that these 50 lines are existing on 1000 devices. So this is something like compliance check, that you have one file, and with that file you are checking login to the devices and checking all the devices one by one, that those devices having those 50 lines of configuration present or not. If it is a present, then it will print error, that it will print the result, the report like this, that these 4 lines are missing, these 6 lines are extra, these 5 lines are missing, right? So such type of reporting you can create with Python. But in Cisco DNA, you know that Cisco DNA has already solved this problem. They have their inbuilt automation engine for compliance check. So DNA having this, but in Cisco SD-WAN we don't have this. Somehow we can go and uh, manage this configuration with Python skill. So you can go and take a backup for the devices running configuration backup, and then you have some standard configuration somewhere, and then with Python script will go and match file A versus B, A versus C, A versus D, A versus like that, and then it can go and generate the compliance report. So such a use case we may have. In this case, you can see that I have a static configuration. In my configuration, I have only 2 lines, gigabit Ethernet and then IP address. So my script should go and check. Here you will see that we have R11, R12, and then the switches. So check here is this, that log into the devices and check that over the interfaces IP address is configured or not. So you will see over the switches, these switches, switch 101, 102, they are the access switches. So they over their interfaces, we don't have IP addresses. So if I go and run this compliance check, it will tell that R11 and R12, they have IP addresses configured, and these switches, they do not have IP address configuration, right? Like that. But our agenda here to understand the logic. So let's see. This is the configuration file we have, and this may be somewhere in your folder stored somewhere, or maybe you're logging to the device and getting the configuration file. Multiple use cases may be there. In our case, we have some configuration which is here already. Okay, now we are defining one function. That this function, what this function is doing, parsing the config. The name is parsing the config, and the parameter is config. Now in this, with this function, what I am doing, interfaces equal to configs dot split. We are using one inbuilt function called split. At the moment, it will see slash n, it will split, slash n is will split. So it will go and print interface and IP address. It will go and print 2 lines and return the interfaces. So why not, let's go and check this much first, then we'll move.
Okay. All right. Split is a huge one for networking, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because the output on a router, switch, or network device, the formatting sometimes is terrible for code to read it, right? The formatting is so unique that this split becomes very important to get the output readable, right?
Yes, 100% right. This is very
Yeah,
useful. This split is really very useful.
very useful for networking. Yeah.
So if we go and call this function,
I've seen the guys use this split very much or a lot, and it's very useful. Yeah.
okay. Um, I need something here for this, but anyways, no problem. Let's go and 3.4, 3.5 actually, 3.5. Yeah, this I need to define something within the config. So I need to store something there in the config, because in this program you'll see that config will be called somewhere within the, yeah, yes, for device config in configuration items. So I need to define this I have to give something here with config, some value. Okay. Mm, that's some fake number. Okay, so you can see it's not printing anything, right? I'll do one thing. I'll go here, print the interfaces. Okay. Hmm. At least it is printing something. Hmm. This is actually this program. Again, I'll come back to that. So the program we have, because I'm not calling this configuration anywhere in this function, so that's why it is not returning any value,
Mm.
but we'll call it, no problem, we'll call it. So now you can see the parse.config. Let's continue this script, understand this. So from where we are splitting this configuration file, we'll come back to this. Next, check the IP config. We want to check the IP address is configured over the devices or not. So we will get the interface name, like interface 01. Is this interface having some IP? 02. Do this having some IP? Like that we want to check. Now let's see the logic here for this function. Check IP config, device name and config. This config will come into the picture. Now interfaces equal to. Now we are calling the parse config. Now we are calling the this guy here, this function here, because this is returning something called interfaces. Right? It is returning something interfaces. Now you will see that interfaces equal to parse config, right? And then you can give any ABC, right? You know the for logic, how it is working. So when I will go and call this interface, when I go and install store this interface, what this interface will store? This interface will store this interface, this interface, this interface, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interfaces. So now if you go and run this for condition, so it will go and read first of all 0, 0, then 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, right? So for interface within the interfaces, if IP address in the interface, this is a check condition. If we have the IP address in the interfaces over the interfaces, then print the device name and the IP address to the interface. So it will go and print the device name and the IP, device name and the IP. And then you can see that we are calling this. So for device config in configuration, this is something that we are calling. So for device and config in configuration dot items, configuration dot items, what is there in this? This is what? Dictionary, right? So within this dictionary, configuration dot items, that means these are the items, the interface and the this. So configuration items, check the IP. So it will go and check the device and the config.
Mhm.
Right. So this is actually something that I'll give you task that this whenever you are practicing, just have a close look on this. This is something
Mhm.
that will be used. This is useful program, and this logic
Yes.
is going to be used again and again. So please have a
Yeah.
look on this, because since we are playing around with the dictionary, so you will see that two values here, device also and configuration also. So we want the device also and we want the configuration also. This is the device and this is the configuration for the device, right?
Mhm.
So that device and configuration, we are checking within the configuration, and then we are calling this IP, check this IP. This IP will read the interfaces one by one and the IP over the interfaces, and it will print the output. So this print statement is coming from here. So have a look on this program. This is little bit difficult program where we have so many
Yeah.
different pieces that is going to be connected. So have a look
Yeah.
on this, and
Yeah. A
then
little bit advanced. Ratnesh, I see device and config. Okay, that's the name, the logical name. Okay,
yeah,
never mind. Perfect.
this is
Yeah.
just the in
The
call,
logical
yeah,
name.
logic, yeah, logical name. You
Logical
can
name. Yeah.
put anything
It's
ABC XYZ.
it's tricky. It's tricky until you get used to it, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. But actually we are doing good, and our goal was to understand mostly the SD-WAN programs and all those things. So no problem, we are going good. In coming 2 3 days, we will see. So after that,
Yeah.
so we are going to complete this. So this module it can completed. Then you have this module number 4, and then you have 5, that is error handling and file playing with the files. And then we are directly into the SD-WAN programming. And then I
Perfect.
have,
And if
yeah,
sorry. And if you want to stop the recording,
Let
are
me
we
pause.
finished?
Thanks for joining. We are in day number 5, actually, covering day number 4, but we are in day number 5, where we'll go and learn the basic data types such as list, tuples, dictionaries. This is very important. Dictionary, actually, list and dictionary, they are very important. Dictionary is super important. List is okay. List is just a list. Is very basic type of data structure we have. And then we have one use case related to SD-WAN as well. So let's move on. What I have done, I created a table just for a reference purpose, that when you are doing list operation, then you can go and utilize inbuilt methods as well. You can append some items in that, you can remove some items from that, you can insert, you can pop, you can sort, you can reverse. Now, sometimes these operations will come into the picture when we want to reverse something or sort something or append something. These are useful methods we have, or useful functions, inbuilt functions we have with respect to list. List is mutable, can be changed, and aliasing, cloning parameters. We know what is the parameter. Passing the parameters, that is the variables, and then you can give the arguments in that, that is the value in that. Then you have tuples. Tuples, they are immutable, you can't change it. Then we have dictionary. Dictionary, they have key and value pair. Today we have one very nice example related to dictionary, that will go and build our dictionary and will play around with this. What I have done, just for the reference purpose, I have given some small examples. For example, devices. R11, 12, and this. Then if you go and print this, it will go and print the devices. If you want to refer something like this is devices 0, devices 1, devices 2, etc., etc., that also you can go and print. If you want to take a range, then you can go from 1 to 4, 1 to 3, like that, and you will get the output like this. This thing we have checked in our previous session as well, so I'll go quickly from here. If you want to append something in this device list, suppose you have the device list here up to 102, but if you want to add something, suppose I want to add switch number 103, I can add it, and when you print, you will see that this string got updated. You have edited this list, right? You can go and use the for condition, for loops. We have seen all these things. With the for loop, we can go and print something. You can go and create a cloning. You can create a clone and then you can go and print that. So no problem. You can create the aliases. You can go and create the clone as well. All these operations are possible in the list operation because they are the mutable. So you can go and change a few of the parameters within the list. Then we have tuples. Tuples are immutable, but you can see that we have these 3 values that I can go and assign, and then I can print. No problem at all. Sometimes in our programming scenario, we will use these tuples to print something. So list is there, tuple is there, some operations are also there related to tuples. Tuples do not have comprehensions, but you can generate tuples from list. You can't do much like we can do with list, but yeah, tuples are there. Sometimes we are using that because we want that immutability within the program. So for that reason, we are using it. Or you can use it. Now, the most important data structure we have that you will see again and again and again is dictionary, key and value. Why they are very important? Because they are very much native to JSON. JSON data format, and later on you will see the usability of JSON is this. Let me write here. So you can see the dictionary are there. They are very much one of the data format, actually not data format, but data encoding techniques. There are 2 data encoding techniques. One is JSON and other one is XML. Like you can use JSON and XML format to create the payloads. So when APIs, they are generating the output, and since we are learning SD-WAN, so SD-WAN always will generate output in form of JSON, because in SD-WAN we are going to use the REST API. And when we are dealing about REST API, their data encoding like input or the output or slash output will be JSON. Why? Because in case of SD-WAN, we are going to use REST-conf protocol. Now you may be thinking that is REST-conf supporting only JSON? No, actually REST-conf is supporting both. REST-conf is supporting JSON and XML both, but there is one protocol that is, there is one protocol that is nothing but a netconf. They are supporting only XML. So if we are learning something related to netconf, and we are utilizing netconf to run the API's call, then at that time you will see XML as an input output. Means API will generate the result in terms of XML, and then API will go and consume some payload in terms of XML. Netconf, XML, RESTconf, JSON and XML, but generally we are focusing on JSON only. Now this JSON, why this dictionary and JSON is important? This JSON data format, the format that JSON has is very much like dictionaries. So they are very much suitable comparative. In dictionary, what you have? In dictionary, you have key and value pair. It's a key and value pair. You have some key, you have value, you have key, you have value. And this is very simple type of dictionary format. In our example, we will see one of the complex type of dictionary format where you have the switch name, for example, device name, and then you have the interfaces and IP addresses and subnet mask like that. Okay. So now when you are playing with this dictionary, you can see clearly here. Today we have one good example, but here you can see at the moment I will go and write a program as well. You can see this example. So you have key and value. So now if you want to print the IP addresses R11, the output will be this, because you want, first you are calling this dictionary. Within this dictionary, you want the value for this key R11, this like a 103, 103. Oh, I don't have here in the list 103. I suppose 102, it will go and print this. 103 I don't have in this list, otherwise it can print this. Then if you want to delete something, it will go and delete as well. Like you can go and play around with these values as well. So not only these are the dumb values, but we can go and add or remove certain things from that as well. So dictionary comprehension, a concise way to create a dictionary. You can see the example. We have one example. Yep.
Yep. Makes sense. Yep.
All right. So then we have now what I have done here. So we have one example where I have added the dictionary and example related to dictionary that we will see. Oh, this is the output. Very good. So if we go and run execute this program, then our unit number 4 will be very much completed, and then we'll move to SD-WAN. So let me go and pull my script, the test.py, right, where we are running all our program. Let me see. I have test, right? And this test.py is printing something. Okay. What is the last thing we have done last time? Print something. Okay. Right. So what we will do, let's try to build our dictionary, little bit complicated dictionary. We'll create the inventory as a dictionary. For the configurations, and this will start like this. What you want here in the dictionary?
Key and values.
Key and value, right?
Any key that is a word will need to be in quotes. Any key that is numeric does not need the quotes, right?
Right. So you can see that we have the quotes and then we have semicolon. So key and
And
value.
then the value is quotes as well.
Yeah. So we can go and give A, B, C, etc. But we want to
And then
create some,
comma.
yeah, comma, and then we'll continue, right?
Yeah.
But we want to create this configuration file that we have like this. Okay. So we'll write that configuration. So here we'll go, and what we have, the interfaces. We know that in networking we have interfaces. Over the interfaces we are assigning the IP address and the subnet mask. So that I want to create. Let's try to build that. So
Now,
interfaces.
yeah, if you're gonna put anything else in there, you need brackets, right?
Yeah. Then again, what's the interface? Suppose,
Brackets
yeah,
or give one.
gigabit Ethernet, for
I
example,
got
0/1. So
you're
this is the
nesting.
interface. Yeah.
You're nesting. You're nesting quickly here on me. Okay, so the key colon the value is a list, and inside the list you have a key and value as well.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So the brackets indicates a list or just something you're nesting.
Yeah. So we can refer R11 as a
Mhm.
configuration.
Key,
When I
right?
go and call the configuration, then I can refer R11, and then I can go, and these things will be items within the configuration. So I can go within this list, and suppose if I want to print, suppose I want to print the interfaces. So how I can go and print the interfaces? So I can go to the config, for example, this line item config,
Mhm.
and then we'll go and give that square bracket interfaces, and then this will come.
And okay, so one thing, Ratnesh, let me get clarity on here. So R11 in quotes is a key, then the colon, and now we need to give the value of this R11 key. The value that we're giving because it is in brackets is a list. Correct so far?
Um, give me 2 more minutes. I will
No
not go and
problem.
complete everything, but we'll understand this for sure. Let me write this line,
Okay.
and
Okay,
then
fine.
two more line, and then we'll discuss about the logic, how it is working, because this is a little bit complicated example
Okay.
related to dictionary, although you have seen this thing like here key
Yeah.
and value. So this is flat
Yeah,
key
no,
and
no
value.
problem. So
There's no
you
problem
see
in
where I'm
this.
going. I'm trying to, and I'll let you finish. We can do it at the end. You see where I'm going, though. I'm trying to read it. All right, I'm trying
100%.
to
Just
read it.
after three
Gotcha.
minutes from now, we will work on this. So now
Perfect.
if I want to continue this, so again, what I have to give here like this, right? And then IP, for example, 192.168.1.1. And then what I want to write here is the subnet mask. So I should give comma. Um, and for example, mask, and then colon. And then if I want to continue, I have to give comma, and then I need to continue. But since this is only one entry in our, we'll create only one entry at the moment. We'll see that how it is
Mhm.
working, and then we'll play
Yes.
around with this.
Okay.
Then since we have the dictionary here, we want to read the items, but this is not like simple dictionary where we have key and value. This is a
Mhm.
dictionary where we have two things, where you can see that we have R11. So you can think that you have key and value, but within the value itself, you have key and value. Like that you can think. See, normal dictionary, key and value. But value, you can see that we have nesting again with key and value. Key and value. Like this is dictionary within dictionary. We have two dictionary like that you can think.
Mhm.
One dictionary with
Mhm.
these parenthesis, and then you can see one dictionary here. Within dictionary, we have dictionary,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Now, since we have two items, A and B, right? Suppose this is A and B is referred by go inside A and then refer B. Like we have two items, A and B. So if I have to go and read this, so how I can go and read? Suppose I have A and B, two items. In configuration dot items. Whenever we have some condition, we are giving this colon, right? Whenever we are defining any function, also we are giving the semicolon. So now I want to read the item. So first of all, I want to print R11. How I can go and print R11, right?
Yeah, print R11 in quotes should be fine.
Configuring the,
Configure.
for example, device. So if I go here and if I can go use this, and if I go and use
R11.
R11 is something that I want to print.
Mhm.
If I go and give like this, you will understand. Let me go and try to run this first of all. Mm, configuring the device R11. Now let's try to understand from here how we are reading the items from the dictionary. In this dictionary, we have key and value, but that value again having key and value. Nesting is there. Now, what we are doing here is this for A and B. A and B means this is A and this is B,
Mm.
right? From A and B, from where? In configuration. This is the configuration.
Mhm. Mhm.
Items. It has
Mhm.
the items, for example, A and B. And then we just wanted to print this part because A is what? A is this and B is this. So that means if I go and print B, let's see. Oops, sorry for that. Copy and paste. So if I go and print B, what will happen? Guess, then I'll execute.
Well, I mean, you're gonna print you're gonna print gig. You're gonna be printing a lot of things there. I have to see how it comes out, but you're gonna print what's between the brackets, what's between, yeah, yeah,
See,
exactly. So it printed the whole thing. Oh
now
wow,
you
yeah,
understood what is A and B. This is A
yeah,
and this is B,
yeah.
right? Now you will
And
understand
and
everything. Yeah.
yeah, and the item and what's driving that is the dot items, right? That what do they call that?
So
A
if we go
function.
here, yeah,
Yeah,
the entries within this. So within this, we have two
yeah,
items, item A and B. So
yeah.
now you can you can think this that this is nothing but list, you know.
Hmm.
You can think
Hmm.
this as a list items, but anyways, let's see. Now what I have done, I simply removed that dot items from configuration, and now let's see. So it is unable to read anything because it is telling too many values and I'm unable to read it. So it is throwing error. It is telling that I don't know what to print. There are too many values. So that's why we are giving these items from the entries that we have. This is A and this is B. Now suppose if you have to print this value, how you will print?
If I need to print that, that's a tough one.
Yeah. So we are, this is what? This is part of B, right?
Yeah.
So
So
that means something related to
print
B.
print
You are very
B
close.
first position, right? You got to put brackets 0. Yeah. Or brackets.
Is it not like B refer by interfaces, B refer by key and value? Now you are B and within B you have key and value. Key and
Yeah,
value.
you're gonna print the values there. Yeah. Okay.
Right. If you go, interface is not defined. Why? You have to give me the answer.
Interfaces is not the.
What is interfaces? Means this is character, right? Not int.
You have to put it in parentheses. You have to put it in quotes.
Yeah.
Double quotes. No, I think you're gonna need double quotes.
That is okay. Either you use
Oh,
single
okay.
quote or double quote.
Single or
That's okay.
double. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So now you can see
Interfaces.
the result.
Yeah. Mhm.
Configure the devices gig 01. Since we have given dot dot everywhere, so it is coming dot, but it's okay. Now, what is our task? Our task is that to print the router 11 interface name, IP and subnet. So now next what I will do, that I can go and give the IP here. I can give the mask here, right? Okay. So if we print, correct?
Yep.
Any doubt
Yep.
in this?
No, none. So the
Clear,
print
right?
statements work from top down, right? Okay. The
I
print
mean,
statements work.
it
The
is
print
printing one by
statements.
one. It is printing because
Okay,
likewise we
printing
have
one by one.
given, define the print. So yes, first it will execute this task, then this print task, then like that it will go. It can't go and print last and then come to first, right? Until unless we have some
Sure.
condition. Okay,
So a
now,
question for you.
mhm.
What's driving that is the for loop statement. If you didn't have a for loop, would the print execution work like that?
Yes, 100%. Why we have given the for
Oh,
loop? Because at the moment I have added only one statement here. Now, if I have two entries here, two items here, right? And suppose this is 12 and this is suppose 2.1. And then if you go and run this, so for loop means first it is configuring R11 and then it is configuring R12, right?
got it. Okay, got it.
For
Makes
loop
sense.
means that this loop is for this configuration dot item,
Yep, got it.
right? Okay, so in this case, uh, can we go and improve this program? If you have to go and improve this program, how you will improve this program? Meanwhile, you think I'll give you 1 minute. Well, I'll go and add two more entries here. Suppose router 13, router 14, 3, 4. How we can go and improve this
My,
program? Mhm.
yeah, one, two,
Yeah.
three, four. Just maybe add a variable for some of that information in the brackets somehow. That's my first thought.
So this is very
I'm,
much like a dictionary that is fixed, right?
yeah,
So if we have to
yeah.
go some improvement, do some improvement, we should do improvement here in this, correct? And what we can do, first improvement will be directly that do not use such type of conditions rather than you put this within a function. So you can go like this, say configure the devices, right? Obviously you have to define this, and then you have to shift everything. And then if you go to the main function, later on obviously we'll go to the main function, and then we'll call the main functions within functions that you will see later on. So the best approach will be that whenever we define anything, we should go and define those functions within the functions, right? Like do not create like bigger program, rather than you can go to the programs, and those programs you can break within
Yeah.
the functions, and those functions will take care everything, right? Now why we are getting error here, you can see here,
Figure the
it will tell you
let's see.
something is, oh, comma,
We're line 57.
commas are missing first of all in the
Okay.
list.
Yep.
I simply copy
Mm-hmm.
pasted. And if you go and run this, I'll give it, oh no, issue fixed.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Yeah,
thought
yep.
something will come and okay. So now you can see that this is
Yeah.
the nicer way, right? Because suppose if I don't want anything, simply I will not call this function. So I have my program created somewhere. If I need, I can call it, otherwise leave it.
Yeah, just leave
So
it
that
there. Gotcha.
is one of the approach that define your what type of variable is this.
Mm-hmm.
This is our global
Right.
variable.
Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, you're telling something.
Um, so in the documents, you have a similar script like this, but not the exact things we're covering here, right?
I
In,
think almost the same. So if you go here all
in the
4.4, you will see
yeah, in
same
the
thing.
class doc. Okay.
But here you have the, so I have defined the functions and then
Okay.
calling the
Okay.
function
Gotcha.
within the, here you can see I am calling within the for loop.
Okay.
Here I have defined only the print statement,
Mm-hmm.
and that I am calling the for loop within this, like that. Even I have better example, like this is some little bit better than
Yeah.
this
Okay.
example.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm uploading these recordings. By any time you can take a snapshot of this also. But almost the same
Yes.
type of program you have here. We are developing actually something, so we may add or remove some more lines or something like that. But very
Okay.
much
Yep.
similar type of examples you have here in the shared drive. You can check the scripts, right? Good job. So we have completed our unit number 4. Now with this example only, you can see so many changes. You can see so many things, right? With this example only, you can see nice things. And now you can see what is A and B. I have explained you with A and B, like, A and B. In the example, you may see device config. So if you see our example, you can see in the for loop, we are calling device, comma config. It can be anything here. I have taken example A and B, and then I am calling A, and then I am calling B, right? You have any thought on this? You have any point on this? Shall we move?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, no questions. We're good. Yep.
All right, so let's move on
Mm-hmm.
and let's see the SD-WAN example. I created one use case. That use case may be little bit big, but we'll understand on that. So here we'll see, first of all, since in SD-WAN we are going to use the REST API calls. So for that you have to import the request. You have to do something called pip install requests in your system, in your Python system. So it will go and
Mhm.
install the package related to request. Then we have to do pip install for pandas. Pandas are packaged for Excel sheet and other formatting things. You can see pandas. Here we are importing pandas as PD. Then if you have some PDF, you can do that PDF as well. Pandas is mostly for Excels. Then you can go and import URL library 3, that is to negate the warnings related to certificate. And then if you want to make pretty print, we know that print a statement, how we are printing the output. Then we have pretty print as well, that if you want to print the output in the nicer way, you can go and use it. So for example, before going anywhere, if I can go here and if I use pp pprint, just to show you the result in our previous section, we run this. Now it is telling, see, print pprint, pretty print, what you want, it is
Mm.
not defined. So that means we
Mhm.
have to go somewhere on top
Mhm.
of the program, say import pprint. And now if we can go and run this, you can see the output module. What is this? A typo error, a. Hmm. Have I done some change here in the, is not taking with the function seems pprint. Why it is throwing error? Strange. Pprint, right? Hmm. One second.
Mhm.
Not too much. Seems pprint is unable to print the functions, the variables within the function, but it is generally just to print the output in a nicer format. There's a use of pprint
Okay. All right.
that I'm going to use in the SD-WAN program. No problem. We'll see that. Unable to
Okay.
call something, that we will check. Let's move on. Let's focus on this. Okay. So up to these lines, is it clear? Up to line 10? Clear, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Then we can define the variables. Later on, we will not use like this. Later on, variables we will import from some other file. At the moment, in this example, we have the vmanage IP username password. We want to retry for 3 times to log into the device. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
Then the login to the device. For that, I have this function connect to vmanage, and we have the exception as well. If you are unable to connect, if you are not getting a status code 200, that is successful, then fail to connect to device. This we have discussed in our previous session. Easy, straightforward this also.
Yes. Mhm.
In this example, only thing you need to focus on this part, that is the post. Post URL, anyways you have the URL.
URL.
Payload is the username and the password. Verify false is for the certificate verification. Correct this portion. Now, getting the device list. Now we have one example that we want to run to get the device list. Uh, Here you can see, get the device list. Now let's focus on only 2 functions, then we'll move. Only 2 functions, focus on only 2 function. With this function, what we are doing, connecting to vmanage, right? And with this, you will see that return. you will see the return value with this function is what? Sessions. Remember, we have done a class where we are returning something. What we are naming those function which is returning something? Fruitful functions. So this is a fruitful function because it is returning something. Now the session you have here, you can see that is coming from where? Connect to vManage, right? Connect to vManage. It is returning something. This session may be used in some other places, right? Okay, this can be used other places as well. Are you still with me?
I am still with you. Yep.
Okay, all right. Now let's get the device list. It's very easy. What you need?
Okay.
URL.
Okay.
To run any API call, what you need? You need URL. Then you need responses, because since this is get API, so here you will see the difference in between the post and get. What is get? With get, it will go and print something.
Hmm.
This is nothing but the
Retrieve the information.
retrieve thing. Yeah, this is nothing but the show command. Right, this is nothing but show command. And what is this? This is something configuring something. So difference in this is that with the post, you have the payload, because you are giving something input, some data as an input, right? That's why you have the payload. But to retrieve some information, you don't need those payloads, right? So that's why you have only the URL and the certificate validity or verification,
Mm.
right? So now we have sessions dot get. Get is the get API call, right? And response, we are, so whatever response we will get, we will go and store here, right? Whatever response we'll get, we'll store here. And then once you have the response, again it will check that do you have any response. If it is response, then you return some data. You can go and return some data. Otherwise, fail. Information fail. So let's do one thing before going any further. I'll show you something, then we'll
Okay.
move. So I can go here. Let's try to write our example. First of all, we'll go and verify with this function python dot test. Oops. Let's see. No error. That means my packages are installed, my libraries are installed, my import functions are okay, everything is okay. Now, if I go here and call, let me see if I can call this. Why? Throwing error?
115
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
space. You get do you need to call, do you need to name the session and vmanage IP? Put that in the brackets.
Yeah.
Session and
So
vmanage IP. Yeah, it's
this is
missing
not
that.
there. Yeah, this is not the session. And session is nothing but the output of this result. So how we can do, for example, session equal to 198.181.10. Yeah, obviously I need something there. Uh, And here, let's try session comma. I know that this will throw error, but I just wanted to show you something. Oh, no error. Okay. But it is not doing anything. Oh my God. Hmm. Okay, let's try to understand these errors and then we'll move on. So what it
Okay.
is telling that sessions.get fail string object can attribute get some issue it has while generating the output related to get the device when we are pushing some session that is our own outputs. You can think like we are forcefully putting this like this. We manage IP is okay, that's fine. And if I can go and print this session here, just to print the session part, let's leave this part at the moment. So you can see request session object. So it has something very big here as a value, and that's why it has some issue understanding these sessions. But what we can do that we can put these things within some loop, within some for loop, and then we can call it. Okay, we'll see that how we can go and call it. But this particular output will provide us the information. That information is in the JSON format. And if I have, let me show you this. I will show you this and then I'll explain. Where is my vManage lab? Okay, you'll see the output. Let me show you the output here for the REST API 198.168.1.10. First, it will try to log in and then it will run. So let me first give a login to the vManage, and then this API will work as it is, no problem at all. Let me quickly copy this API.
Mhm.
By logging in, and then I'll go and run this API. See, this is a JSON we are getting with this API.
Oh, oh, great. Awesome.
So the Python is also doing the same thing. With this program code, the return value is the same thing that you have seen. This is the return value.
Yeah. Yeah.
From this return value, we will go and use some sort of for loop, and then we will print those information in the Excel sheet. That's
Okay.
the use
Nice.
case we have. So
Yes.
now what we want to do here, we have to go and define one function, export to Excel. Now you will see this is just very a small function, just 4-line function, 3 to 4 line. But what we are doing, we are creating one function, export to Excel devices, right? The devices you will get from here. We'll see how we'll get that. And then we are defining the file name. File name, you can give any name .xlsx, right? And then we are using the pandas, method of pandas. DF is what? Pandas
Oh,
as
I don't know.
PD.
Oh, pandas as
Yeah.
PD. Okay.
In Panda, we have these functions that we can go and define. So you can see the DF we are storing within Panda. You can see PD. Pandas are PD. So within Panda, this is some sort of Panda functionality. In
Mm.
Pandas, we are defining like this. So PD.data frame. So what we are doing, that the data frame that we have, we are putting in Pandas function. This is called from Pandas. This function we are calling from Pandas inbuilt library, right? PD.data form is the device that we are getting, the big device list that you are getting, that you have seen in the URL, that we are putting
Mm.
within the Pandas.
Mhm.
Then what this Panda is doing, everything is done by Panda. Panda is taking that JSON and converting that to Excel. This is Panda function again. This is also Panda function. This is Panda function. So what Panda is doing, Panda is taking that Excel as a DF, and then this DF we are converting to Excel, and we have the file name. That's it. Taking the JSON using Python pandas and converting that to the Excel,
Yep.
right? So
Makes
these two
sense.
lines
Yeah.
are there, and then we are printing the file. I will show you the result as well. Now we have the functions here. Now you can see logging to vmanage. Then you will see that getting the device list with the get API. Then you can see converting that JSON, converting that JSON to Excel, and then print. Even you can convert to PDF as well. Then we are in the main function. Now you will see that main function call. In next class, we have to learn about the try and accept method. Apart from this try and accept, now you will see that we know everything. So we are defining the main function where we have the global variable retries, where we have the while loop. That means try for 3 times. First time, second time, third time. Try to log into the vman. And now you can see the session. So the session here is session equal to connect to vmanage IP, username, password. Since we have defined this as a global variable, right? So you can go and simply use this statement. There is no problem. And then you can see, so this was missing actually in our example, because I have defined in my example also I have defined the global variables. So I should not use a session like this. If you define those global variables, then you can then you can call like this with the name,
Mm. Mhm.
because they will come from top, from here,
Mhm.
devices. And now if I want print the devices, see. Okay, so first function, what it is doing, that this is logging to vmanage. What this is doing, logging to vmanage. Second function, what it is doing, that it is generating the output, and now we are printing the output like this. We should do this within the main function, obviously. Here, this is our example. Just I'm showing that how we are doing here. So we are printing that, right? Now we have one more function. What is that function? Export to Excel function, right?
Mhm.
Where we
Definitely.
have
Yep.
the argument device, where we have the argument and the file name.
Mhm.
That is, you can give any name. Say today's SD-WAN device list dot Excel SX, something like that. We'll check that.
Mhm.
So we are defining the SD-WAN function. Leave that main function, XLSX colon, and then df equal to data frame and something. give colon, and then df is data frame, short for data frame. We have pandas, we have called this from the import statement, import pandas as pd.
Mm.
And since this is my data frame, I can call the data frame. Within this data frame, we are taking this devices input, right? Now we have to convert this JSON, this in Excel.
Mhm.
So we have
Mm.
to go and use some export option. So now we have the DF that we want to, oops, that we want to Excel, convert to Excel. And we have the file name that we are calling from top, from the definition. And you don't want indexing. We will see that. And then you can go and give the printf statement. What will be the printf statement? We know that. Print the device list completed to file name. What's the file name? That's the file name, right? So I need to call this also. How I can go and call this function? Because if I do not call this, how this will go and convert that, right? And even in our programming skill, we can make this as a user input as well. So while you print the name, while you run this script, it will ask you, oh, what is your Excel file name? Is it
Mhm.
ABC
Mhm.
DEF XYZ?
Yeah.
You can give, and then it will
Yeah, I
store
like
that.
that. I like that. I like that a little better. Yeah. I think that's the return. That's a return command. Yeah.
And so why we are running this? Because we don't want to we just wanted to make sure that everything is correct. So let
Yeah.
me go here, and if you run this program and you will not get any error, that means function is okay. Good job. So far we are doing good. Now let's go. So we have three functions. Now we are calling those functions within the main function, and while printing it, we can go and use some sort of condition as well, like if devices are reachable, unreachable, what is the length of devices, and then we can go and export to Excel. That's the name of the function, export to Excel. So I can go here. In my case, simply I can go and call this. Later on we'll see that conditions and all. Export to Excel. That's the function I want to call it, because I want to print the devices and export to Excel devices, right? Let's see. Run this. Okay. It's in a small, right? Why I have given caps? I don't know. Let me try one more time. So you can see the error here. Some typo mistake is there. But
122.
listen,
Yeah.
see here, file name is not defined.
22.
Where is the file name?
It's just typo FILE. That's all. Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's try to run this. If we get this print statement, that means things are okay. Print the device completed to file name. Today's SD-WAN file list XLS, etc. Let me go here and check the folder where we have this.
So
From
by
where we are
default,
running.
by default it'll put it in the same folder that you're in, right?
Yes, by default that will
Or
be the
or
folder.
or, or you could tell it to create a new folder somewhere else. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
are in unit number 3 and 4 seems. Yeah,
Yes.
we can do that as well. Even folder name also you
Okay.
can go and define. Those things you can go
Yep.
and define. Go here to unit number 3, 4, and oh my god. where SD-WAN, not SD-WAN use cases, that should be in my Python folder, CCNA DevNet, CCNA Python, unit number 34. Here I'm referring today's SD-WAN device list.
Oh, beautiful.
Now you can see,
So, okay. So in that JSON key value pair list, typical default JSON,
yeah,
it knew how to convert it to Excel because of pandas, right?
pandas, yeah,
And
pandas.
it created the headings and the values. Wow, that is really cool. I mean, I've seen it before, but now that I think about it, it's super cool.
All the values in the correct
Yeah,
order
yeah, yeah,
placement
yeah,
will create it for
yeah,
us.
yeah.
And
And
this
you
is
didn't
just
have to tell it to do that. The pandas module has that intelligence, right?
yes, yeah, they are very intelligent, and all the file related operations we can do from pandas, they are very much tuned for that. We
Hmm.
can do so
Hmm.
many operations related to pandas. Thanks for joining today. We are in day number, this is our day number 6, day number 6. And in this day number 6, we are going to learn about the error handling, file operations, and other type of modules and packages that we can import and play around within the Python. So let's see the module first. The unit number is, you can see that is unit number 5, files, exceptions, modules, packages. This is important, and after this class, we have all SD-WAN related use cases, and we are going to deal with big programs that we have. So we will check that. All right, so here you can see that file handling, how it is working. The logic is this: file handling means that although we can work on any script, any Python script, but suppose if I have something somewhere is stored, for example, if I have something is stored in my laptop, from that stored file, I want to read something and use that file within my script, or my script can generate some output, and then that particular output I want to save somewhere within the, in terms of file or folders. Those operations we can do with respect to our Python programming. That's the whole idea about the file handling, and how we can go and play with the file. Now, before coming to this particular example, you can see that we have one key value pair, we have one dictionary sample configuration like that. Now we'll see that we have configuration, how we'll go and store these configuration within some file, configuration.txt or abc.txt, etc. Now for this file operation, you will see if I have table here related to, oh, I haven't added any table, I should add one table, but anyways, no problem. Table means that while you're opening a file, so what I want to do here, I want to open one file, that is configurations.txt, and we have the write permission as a file. As you can store anything, we will check that, we'll name this as a B, C, D, etc. Now what we want here, we have the device and config. We have the device and config in configuration item, same type of logic we have done in our previous session. And then what we want to do, we want to write file write. You can see the operation file write. Where is the file? This file. So file dot write devices. What are the devices? These are the devices. This is configuration. Slash n means new line character. Config. Where is the config? This is the config, right? And then nn is double new line, and then we are printing it. So logic is simply this, that open one file and paste this configuration in that particular file. with the file handling techniques, because you are opening the file as a with a write permission. We have multiple different types of, we have different types of operations here that we can do, like open, append, close, etc., etc. We have the write permission here. Open the file, parse this output, print the device name separately and the configuration separately. That's the target we have, right? Let's try to build this script, then we'll understand more. Once we'll go and build this script. Mm, Let me go and save this name. Unit 5 test. Generally, we are saving as a test. Let's try to understand this. Save. I want to create one dictionary of what? Configuration. It's easy that you can go and use that. Let me do that. Configurations, since it is open somewhere in some other file, so I can see that. Then what you want in this? I want the device name and the configuration with the colon. See, key value. We want key and value, right? Key value. After that, what I want? I'll take only 3 examples. A switch, router 11, 12, and switch 101. My system is very slow. This is something I have opened. What? 1 second. Let me quickly check. Seems I'm running some VMware, or still is it on? The system is very, very slow. 1 second. Let me fix that. If it will get reboot, then you please rejoin the session. Come on.
Okay, we'll do. Yep.
I think my VMware session. Oh, I should. This morning I took the lab class. It's very slow. Okay, let's go back. So either you can create such type of format, or you can write one of the key value pair, and after that you can copy paste that. So key is R11, that's the device name, and the config, what I want. Say I want this interface Ethernet, suppose 0/0, and over this interface I want to give some IP address. I want to assign some IP address. Oops. IP address, say 192.168.1.1, and then subnet master. This is my example. I'll go and press C. I'll use only this. Suppose this is router number 12, router number 13. This is 2 and this is 3. So after interface name, I'm using this /n. We'll see that how it will be used. It's a new line character. It will give some space. So this is my key value. Now what we want? The same logic we have used last time. What logic we have used last time? That we will go and use one for loop, and we'll go and read the device and the config, these things, and then one by one we can print it. So let's go and do this. We want to open one file. The key is with open, and then you can give any name. My config.txt. Obviously I have to go and put everything in this, otherwise they will not understand. So you can see here the file handling condition. It will start with this with open. I want to open myconfig.txt with write permission, and then
Mhm.
as my file, anything you can, as my config file, any name we can give, right? So that means that we are opening one condition. We want to open this file as this.
Mhm.
This is the programming name. This is the
Mhm.
actual file and the location name. Okay,
Mhm.
now we want to give the condition. For condition, what is that? For, say, I can give device name as well, or device config like this. Device, I'll do one thing, device name config. Where? In the configurations, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
since we are playing with the dictionary configurations item, now what you want? So this condition means that you're reading this one by one. Then you're already in one condition where you have one file, my config file, right? Now we are reading
Mhm.
this. Now we want to write the config, write the device name and the configuration within this. So simply we can go and use my config file dot write, and we can write the device name and config. That's it. And then later on we can go and arrange the output, like we want a
Mhm.
spaces or tab within the output and all. But the key here is
Mhm.
this, that we want to write this.
Mhm.
So my config file dot write, and what you want to write. We want to write the device name that we have, that we created, and then what we have done, the configuration, right? Say with the configuration. Later on we'll go and add some slash n, like new line characters and all, but I want to write this, right? And completed. Now let's
The
see.
word the word config. Okay. Okay. Got it. Device name and config. Gotcha. Perfect. Mhm. Yeah, we're
First write the
calling.
device name
We're
and then the configure.
Yeah, we defined it as device name and config, two parts, key and value, and we're calling it in that F string down there. Okay, good.
So let's see. Now completed. So let me go to the folder where we should have this type of name. Let's see to the, let's go here. Hmm. My config, you can see. And
Did it create that file, Ratnesh, or just update that file?
yeah, I will answer that. Okay,
Okay, good.
so you can see the configuration, but configurations are there. I can see R11, you can see the output here, R12, R13. There is no space, like it's like simply it is putting the values there.
Mhm.
I want R11 and then their configuration. Then I want R12 and its configuration. Then R13 and its configuration. Like that, I want this in a space, space, space. Like that I want, but it did not create it like that. But we have some output. Now this file, let me go delete. Now we don't have that my config, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'll do one thing. Actually, answer is that it will create.
Gotcha.
So if I go and give the name, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's my file
Mhm.
name.
Mhm. Gotcha. It will
And now if
create it.
we go there, you will see this,
Great.
right? Now I'll do one thing here, that this output that we have, we want to print this in some nice format. So for that we can go and use the new line. Let me turn on new line. Oops, new line characters. So let's do that. Let's go back to the program and let's try to make this little bit more, much more readable. So what you can do here, that here itself, you can give /n. This is the new line character. Here we have given slash, and then after config also, you can give /n. And let me go and that's my name. Now let's go to the folder, my config. Let's see this. Now you can see R11, you can see that R11 with the configuration interface. Now with the configuration, after this also, I want some new line character with the configuration. So where we have with the configuration. So here you can see, here also I can go and use /n. But this /n, it will take, yeah, it will take, because this is within the double quotes. And we'll go there, and now it will update. You want to reload? Yes. So now you can see that now you can see that we have the R11. After that we have this is in new line, this is in new line. Still after the device name, I don't have new line.
Mm-hmm.
So after the device, where is the device name? Here it is. It's also, if you go and
Mm-hmm.
give /n and control S. Now if you go back, and it will reload this output. Now you can see
Mm-hmm.
R1 with configuration, this with configuration,
Mm.
this with configuration, this.
That's cool. Yeah, very cool.
Even we can do one small thing here. We can go here and can do this thing. And then
Mhm.
last time, just last time. Let's go back there. I can say device name is this, and then the configuration.
Yep, yep,
Device name,
nice.
etc. Like that, we can go and print it in the nicer way. So this is the example related to the file operation, right? This is a good example where you have dictionary. You are reading from the dictionary, and then you can see that we are opening and then we are reading. We have the condition. So now we are playing around with the configuration. This time we are creating new file and putting these conditions like that. Even you can read from that file, and then your condition will be applicable. So not only that we are writing, we can read also, and we can take action. Like we can go and read the device name one by one, and then it will go and save the device configuration like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so you can understand this, right? Easy.
Yes. Yeah, makes sense. Yep. Hmm.
All right, let's move on. Next, you can see read. Now, if you want to read something, so here you can see that we can go and give the condition. See, open as a file, then content. Within content, we are what we are putting, content equal to file read. So it will go and read the file,
Now, in this
right?
case, the file needs to be there already, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, gotcha.
it should be there, and then it will go and print the content, over the screen. So
It'll read the file and print it on the screen. Interesting.
yeah, oops. My laptop is a little bit slow. Python is easy. So let's my underscore config.txt having these contents. Now let's go back to the script that we have. And my laptop is little slow. Yeah, but it will work. So I can go here and do 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. Now let's create that. So what we want, say this is the condition with open and this, and then what you want to open? You want to open my as a file name config.txt, right? What is the permission you want to give? The permission you are giving it as a read, right?
Mhm.
And as my read file, for example. And then what you want? You want to read and print, right? I want read. What's your file name? File my read file, and then print. I want to read my file, right? And then you can go and print. What do you want to print? I want to read. This is the program that we are developing now. Save. Go to CLS. Simple. You're able to understand the logic.
Yep, crystal clear.
Okay, so let's move on quickly. So these are the read and write operation, and then let's go what we have next. I have some command line arguments as well, and these arguments you will get later on in the SD-WAN programming as well. So if you go and check this argument, means command line argument means that sometimes it will happen that we'll go and create a menu based program, like no, it will ask, oh, you want one, or you want to check operation 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, 7, like that it will ask. So there we can go and provide the user input, and in those use cases you will see that this command line arguments are useful. We are importing the sys package, then read the config file. I can see again I'll come to this try and accept, but we are adding the exception handling here with open file name r as a file contained in this. Just now we check this, we can go and open one file, right? And then we can go and print. So this condition, the previous program we have very much like this, actually almost like this, that we are putting within the exception handling error and accept, and then we are telling that file is not, if file is not there, it will tell, oh, file is not there. And then you will see the condition here. What is this condition? That sysarg is greater than 1, file name is sys argument v can have multiple arguments, read the file else uses. Like this is the user input type of program that we are using. Let me show you this, then I'll come back to this and explain you about this. So if you are here, this is the program, all the programs you can see that we already have. Let's try to understand this first. Oh, not test. Now we are 5 underscore 3. See, it is hitting the else. What I'll do, I'll go and use my config.txt. Let's see. Oops. Hmm. because we are defining some read function file. Great. Hmm, because I have this file. 1 second. myconfig.txt. We have this file, and uh, uh, just a second. I'll explain you about this feature. Good. Very good. Uh, Great. And let me make this one. Okay.
I accept.
Yeah, I will explain just a second. I'm just checking. Okay. Good. Okay, so you can see that I changed the argument, sys argument greater than 0, file name it to sys arg 0, and then you can see that it is printing it is going here if first of all, if we are putting 0, it is matching this condition, and otherwise it will go and match this condition. This is true. This statement is true. This function is true. Only thing that we are putting within the try and accept. We'll check that error handling in the next example. Point here is this, that later on in our program, we will go and create such type of functions, right? That if the conditions are not matching, they will exit, and they will tell you in that program itself, we will put some sort of help statements
Excuse me.
that if you are not getting the desired result, then you do this thing, then you use
Mm-hmm.
this option, then you use help command, like that. So system arg is some type of programming, inbuilt programming function that will exit if condition will not match. At the moment, suppose I have 100 line program. At the moment, it will go and hit line number 20. It will print you the output and it will exit. So such type of arg value we are creating. This is command line argument. This is something like we are going to use later on. You'll understand more about this. This is something that will interact with the user input and all those things that we can see later on. At the moment, this is some
Okay.
inbuilt function that can exit from the program. That's the use.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see this function here, this portion we know, this portion 100% we know how it is working. Now assume that this file is not there. Suppose if this file is not there, then what will happen? Let's try to understand. Then I will go and explain you about the error handling part. So let's go back here and let me remove this part. I just wanted to call this. Let's see. Configuring data read from file ABC. Now let's see. I'll make this one. One is not there in the program. See. So now you will see I'm matching both the condition. What we can do, if suppose if we are not using this try and accept, this is the exception handling technique. So we are running the program within the try and accept condition, and then we are executing the program as it is. So I have my function, and this function I am calling here. Now when I am calling the function, right, if this file is not there, then what will happen? If this file is not there, the function will try this portion. Since this file is not there, then the function is moving to the exception part, except part, file not found error. And then it is printing error, the
Mm,
file name does
okay.
not exist. So you can see error, the file. Since I have given the file name as a ABC, if I can go and give the file name, say for example, my config1.txt, and obviously give some slash, should take, so we can see this output at least. See, error, the file my config was not found, right? Why? The file, then you have given slash n, so it is going to the next line. What's the file name? Config my config.txt. After that again you are giving slash n, was not found. So this is the exception handling use case that we'll see in the next slide, that if you use that, it will tell you that what exactly is the error, the exception, actually not error, the exception, that why it is not working, why this function is not working. And this is very useful, like you will see in our programs, we will go and put everything within the loop, within this condition, not the loop, with these condition, try and accept, try and accept. If something is happening, well, put in the try, and if those conditions are not matching within the try, then you can go and put within the exception. Now, related to this exception, do we have only file not found exception? No, right? We can go and define anything. So later on in the examples, you will see that we may have good amount of exceptional handling use cases, like what type of exceptions you are putting if this is not
Mhm,
matching.
mhm.
Right, so this is easier,
Yep.
straightforward.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right.
Uh,
Now, then we have very easy things, easy things, but it's very interesting that when you're working on assurance label program, like assurance label script, or not only assurance label script, but also the T-shoot label script, troubleshoot
mm,
related scripts. So at those point of time, when you'll go and build those scripts, you'll see that time become very important. The time stamp. Remember the syslog messages. The syslog messages, what they have, the time stamp. This time
yeah.
router reboots, it came up, then certificate install, then interface down error. So time stamp is very interesting thing, and that's why you can see this format. This is the fixed format. It is telling some year, month, day, hour, minute, second. This is that you want to trigger something with this time format. So when you go and collect, suppose I have to go and run one program where what users at what particular time they are logging to we manage. Then you can go and use such type of functions. They will tell you, see, this is for us. These functions that I want to use this timestamp function to print my Excel sheet. Obviously, we manage knows as per the user activity. We manage has that option that it can track the users, their accountability, how long they are there in the system and all those things, or it may have integration with other party. So it can track the activity. But suppose you have to send some report to the management or some other places, then you can format the timestamp like this, and then it will give you the clear output related to the time, seconds, millisecond, all those things. Right. So let's say this example. This is that date, time, and time example. So now what's the time? If I go and print the current time now, it will go and print the current time. Hmm. 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 Yeah, I have that actually here. Let me go and use that. 1 second, just clear all drawing. Where it is? My time. Where are you? 5 dot maths 6 module 5 5. Okay. The time will take like this. So now, for example, now it put date time dot now. Okay, I can see that it is asking everything to add. 1 second, let me. Oh, date time. First, I'll try this. It's not working. Then I'll date time now. I just try to work here in the Python model, just checking that these time modules and these things are there or not. See, date time is not there. So what you need to do actually, that you have to go and install this. You have to do something like pip install date time,
Mhm.
collecting the date time, and then you have to do pip install some time, right? And then if you go here and if you go and try to try to check date time, maybe with function, without function, or maybe let me check the time. See what it is telling, that line 1 module 1, the time is not defined,
Mhm.
and you have to
Mhm.
go and define in the program, and then you can go and run this within the program and all, because this we need to import, like say import time, right? And then if you do say time, module object is not callable, no
Mhm.
problem. So suppose a equal to time, import. What I'm doing all these things, I'll tell you why I'm doing all these things.
No problem.
Okay, now see all these errors you can see. Then I try to do pip install and the package install, right? Now come back to this
Mhm.
program, the time, because this is one of the program that you will see there in the main program related to
Mhm.
troubleshooting and the assurance. So let's
Mhm.
go back to our test where we are testing our functions and all, and let me go and add that program that I copied, and then I simply don't want these lines. I don't want these lines. Okay, and save cs test.py. Now we'll see here that we are importing two packages, date time and time. Now we are storing the date time. This is the, like, this is the format. We can't do much on this. Like if you want to check that what is the date time now, so you can go and you have to use such type of function in the nesting. So from date time and now, within date time and then now, like this. Then print the current date time now. So we are printing the current time, like this is the time here as per the GMT. What is 5 plus GMT 5 plus 330? This is the current time in my laptop. Then now you can see formatted time. Now you will see that this time that you are seeing here, that may be time stamp within the vmanage. When you go and check the user logs within the vmanage, by default it will give you some default timing like this, but you want that time in your format, right? You can see this is the format that we want to print the timing. Then you can go and use the formatting string like this. This is what, first year, then month, then date. You can see year, month, date, and then the hour, minute, and second. Hour, minute, and second. The upper one has some nanoseconds as well, seems. So it's up to us that what format we want to print. These are the inbuilt functions that we have. And I can see that I just try to change the format. So now this is year, date, and month. And even I can go and use the day, month, and year. But you can understand, right, that what exactly we are doing here.
Yes.
It's timestamp. The format you want to use the timestamp, you can go and use the timestamp. Then you can see that start the time now. You can put some sleep timer. You can end the timer. You can do this. I got one use case. I got one use case where I have put these functions. So that use case was like this, that I I have to create one script to check. So we
Hmm.
have some DOS attack in our network. Then management
Hmm.
told me that, okay, what we want, that can you prepare one script where we want to check the number of MAC addresses. In other words, you can think as a show IP ARP.
Hmm.
Right? So you have to go and check the ARP entries after every 10 minutes. If number of ARP entries are increased drastically, that means we are under attack, like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in that case, suppose you have to go and run your script for 20 times, for example, and you have to give one expiry time of 5 minutes. After every 5 minutes, you have to run your script. What you will do? You will go and create one for loop, I equal to 1 to 10, and then you will execute your script within the for loop, right? But with this, your script will run continuously. But in a script, if you go and put this thing, sleep time, that means your script will wait for 2 seconds or 10 seconds or 20 seconds to execute the output. You got my point?
Yep. Yep. I do.
So if you go and run this output,
Mhm.
so the delay, now you'll see, let me increase this. I can see it is waiting here. Now we are waiting. Why? Because I have put a delay of 20 seconds. So we have this output, and now start time equal to time, end time equal to after 20 seconds. And then it will tell you what is the elapsed time. So now you can see elapsed time is what? 20 seconds. Right. Generally, these
Mhm.
small tricks we are using within the script if we want to
Mhm.
put some delay and then we want to run the script.
Mhm.
But these are the function
Interesting.
modules that
Yeah.
we
And
can go and,
you need the time and the date time modules to have these features.
yeah, for assurance and troubleshooting, always you will see these functions and modules. All right, so let's move on. Now we have very easy topics. So we can go and use the OS and calendar modules. You can import OS and calendar. You can go and print the what is the running operating system, what's the year now, the month, current day and date. All these things you can go and print. These are some small functions. Obviously, it will be used in the assurance. In the troubleshooting section, you will go and use it. Small function, I'll not spend much time on that. Then math operation, not only math, different type of packages. we may import, you will see in upcoming days, we will go and import maybe 15, 20 different type of packages. So on top you can see, as you can see, import math, number, and the square root. A square root equal to math, a square root of a number, and you can give some input function as well. So it will ask you, what is the number you want to make a square? Instead of this, we will go and define the input function. Later on, you will see I'll go and use some sort of input function. So then it will ask you what's the input number, and then it will make the square. Then it will go and do some sign. This some of the mathematical operation we are doing here. Like within this calculation, you can do. Point here creating these slides that you can go and import some packages from outside within your program. Then later on, you will see that in our modular programming, we'll go and create different Python files at different places. So we may have main.py, we may have config.py, we may have utils.py, like that. So not only that you can go and create different files, but you may have different folders, and from those different folders you can call different files. So I have one big program related to taking the backup and running multiple operations within SD-WAN, single program. But that program, you will see later on that that program we have in different folders, and in
Yes.
different folders you have different files, and
Mm-hmm.
then within the main click, like within the main script you are calling. So what you want to do, as per the requirement, it will go and contact the correct folder and the correct Python program, correct folder and the correct Python program, like that it will work. So you will see the modularity later on. We are going to use whatever we have studied so far. You will see in the first program itself we will go and learn all these things. We'll understand all this hierarchy and nesting, all those things. And then I have the example. Suppose this file is there in somewhere in some folder. So how you can go and call? You should call on top, like import this from this. Those type of keyword you have to give. So not only that, you can go and call the programs, you can go within the folder and scan for different type of packages, and then it will run the script for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can see here this particular example from network utils. Network utils is nothing but one folder.
Mm-hmm.
We are importing config and status, and then I am using those. First of all, device is R11 config.save, because config is there in network utils. So I am saving the config like this, then loading it, then printing it, then checking the device status, and then it is printing the status. Don't worry, these things will come.
Config and status are file names.
Config and status. So, our, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Our earlier directory where we have a router name, device name, and then we have configuration, and then we have a status. The status means up and down. So it is this example. You can see here as well. This is the config actually. This is the device and the config. A status means up and down. Don't worry, I will run this. A status means up and down. It's a device status. I will show you the example. Don't worry. I'll come back to this. We'll execute this together. I have this. Then this done. This is the last example. So no problem. Let me end this. Now, if you go to the folder, if you go here to the example, okay, let's see. I have the program. Let's see here one by one. Let me go and close those things which is we already discussed. So this also, and files.py this also. So I have all those. Okay, this also. Hmm. Math operation, you can see that you can go and create this. Now, number, if you have to. input. Enter the number. One second, let me. Python dot 507. Say 4. So what is that? It's taking this as a should do something like we'll do these things later on. Some formatting I need to do for input function. So since it is taking this as a string, so I need to convert this number to from, you can see this again. Let's see the error one more time. We'll try to correct it and then we'll proceed. Say if I give this number, then this number, the program is taking this number as a string, but I want this number as a integer. That's why it is throwing errors. Must be number, not a string. So there is some program that we can go and convert the string into number. So we can do that. We have some options in that, like, how we can convert. We can go and use some functions. Let me try to do that. Because this is a string, can I take some online help? Let me open. Okay. One second. See, Python convert integer to str. Oh, str to int, right? We are getting the str into. How I can convert? Let's see. Gigs. Let's see. Some online help I'm trying. And see, a string high is the integer. So how do we have any function that we can go and convert? Yes. What is that? Int. But I want this as a input. So let me try few things. So if I go here and make like this, say input int, I know that this will throw error, but we are just trying. Right. So it is telling that a string, an integer, and makes an input. So better search will be like this, that how Python input will take integer as input. Oh, so see, int you have to define outside and then input. So this is just in the reverse. You can do int you define outside like this. See, int and then input and then give, enter the number, save. So while you do the programming, obviously you need to do some, some sort of this all Google search as well. It will help you to get to the
Yep. I'm even using Microsoft Copilot,
Copilot.
GitHub
Okay.
Copilot, yeah, with my in my Visual Studio Code to understand, some of these basics better, and it's been amazing.
Yeah. Right. So I'll close this. But now we can have our input function as well. You can see this input will come into the picture later on. So suppose I have an automation script. So in that
Hmm.
it will ask which particular device you want to do troubleshooting. So then you will give the device name, say router 11. Okay, you will go router 11. What you want to check? The MAC address, the OMP, the BFD, the IPsec, the software, the hardware. It's the biggest script I created. I'll show you later on.
Okay.
Let me close this. OS we
Yeah,
know
I'm
already.
ex I'm
OS.
excited. I'm excited about that. So
We have very,
looking
very
forward to
nice
it.
examples.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now we have these. Where is 5.59 is not there? Okay, see. Yeah, 5.9 is there. Why you are hiding? Okay, so we have only these three scripts. 5.8. Save the config in device con. This is actually very interesting. So we'll understand everything. So we have one function, save config, right? Device and config are the parameters. So with open, you can see with open device underscore config. So we are opening this. This is something, this is one of the function that will help you to save the configuration. And then you can see here, we have something load the config. Let's run this program. But in this program, you will see this will not return anything. Why it will not return anything? Because it's just the functions. We're not doing anything in this. Why? Because if you go and check the next program, so in next program, the status actually 5.8, 5.9, and I think 5.10 created. All these three programs are connected. So when you understand, when you try to work on this 5.8, 5.9, 5.10, this is the program. You can see network utils. From network utils, I am calling config and status. This is the config and this is the status, right? Config and status. So let me explain that. Let's go here. Say python.exe 5.10. It will throw error. Why? Because you don't have the network utils, you don't have the config, you don't have the config and status. So let's go back here to our program and I'll go and create one folder. um, Network utils. Then I'll go and copy config and status and the 5.10 package, all three. I'll go and put here. Then I'll rename this as a config. I'll rename this as a status, right? Now we'll go back to the program. Now should go to network utils. Let's see where we have three programs. This is the main one, then config and status. Then I can go and run this program. What it is telling, no module name config utils from network utils. Oh, so it is telling that I don't have network utils where I should go and call config and status.
Mm. Hmm.
Okay, no problem. I will go and do this. This and this. Okay. So I'll do one thing. Although I created the folder calling and all those things, you will see. We have to go and use some dot there. We will see later on in the mega project that we have. But here I'll go
Hmm.
and do one thing. I'll go and save this as a as a network utils. This is the name I want. Let me go to the network utils within that folder. Network utils 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the Python? Python. So I have my network utils program where I'll go and put these functions, save config, but there also I think it will throw error. These are misleading name. Let me quickly go and close this. Let me quickly go and close this also. Now we are good. And let me go to my folder and let me paste this here. This let me put and paste here. And let me put and paste here. Okay, great. So within network utils folder, I have a status.py, and within network underscore utils, I have the folder config, and this is my main function. It is telling that okay, package. So from network.utils, you can go and import this and this config and status. Actually, something wrong here. It should point out the exact folder, right? 5.10 is there, no doubt about that. See that we have this 5.10 that we want to run execute, but it is throwing error. Means some wrong calls are there in this. We should go and correct the calls, then it will work. So if we go and run, let's focus on the output. Let's see, then we'll understand. So what it is telling. Network utils 5.10 line module 1 from network utils config status. Cannot import config from network utils. Why? Because network utils, then network utils.py. It is not there. So first here only it is throwing error. Config unable to call. So can I go like this that how we can import? Tell me. If I go here and if I do like this, see uh, uh, everything.
Mm,
Let's see.
yeah.
So again, it is showing error that it is telling that you can't import it, config and status. Why? Why it is not importing config and status? Everything is in the same folder.
Mm.
Still, it is unable to import
It can
config.
find network utils, but it can't seem to import what's in it that we want. Is that right?
Uh, yeah, yeah, it is
From
finding
network
network
utils.
utils. Network
Okay, it's
utils, it
finding
is
it
finding
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is unable to import that.
Did you try one at a time? Just config, for example? Yeah, save. Okay. Network utils, line one in module one.
No problem. No issue. So we'll see that how we will go. This is one of the way that we are importing the function, but later on I'll show you that actually we are defining class. You will see later on that we are defining the class instead of importing the functions like this and this folder. Actually, we are creating the class, and in that class we are adding so many different functions. If you go and
Okay.
import that particular class, it will automatically import all the functions within the class.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So in our program later on in the SD-WAN section, you will see, I will show you all these import and packages. You will
Okay.
see that we have the class defined, And within the class,
Okay.
we will go and import everything, and we have so many, so many things related to user defined functions. So we are going to focus whatever we have learned so far from day 1 to day 6, all these things become basics. And then you will see the use cases, the real use cases that we will see from the next class onwards.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.